It's hard to imagine that the decade in which GreenWood's started is coming to a close already. We've gone through significant growth over the last 10 years, and now we're a scrappy team of 3. Because of that, I thought it was very important that we'd have a mission statement that was well articulated, and I did so at our Investor Day this last September. So as we draw the year and the decade to a close, I figured I'd actually share some of the closing remarks from our Investor Day in which we highlighted this mission statement. This mission statement is for us to be the catalyst that helps our investors, our companies, and our team members perform at the top end of their range of possibilities. Of course, our returns and our performance help our investors perform at the top end of their possibilities. But increasingly, we're now actually helping our companies and of course our team members perform at their top end of their range of outcomes. So we hope you enjoy the following video and have a great Happy New Year.
We have things stacked in our favor, so we're probably going to be very much more accurate than consensus, but we'll see. I don't want to frame it for you. And the purpose for this is just to actually continuously improve our ability to generate alpha, which is the only thing I care about. As talking about the truth teller, Sergio was called a truth teller. Fixed a business with over 100% unionization in southern Italy, which is even worse than southern Portugal, if I could say. And Sergio generated a 60x career outperformance. And so a cold sweat came over me after he died because I realized the 2 men that I most want to be like in my professional career, Wally and Sergio, died from the same cancer at the same exact age, 66. And so I was on a plane I think it was a plane to Portugal, and it was an 8-hour flight, and I was just like, I'm going to come up with a plan that I can mic drop at 66 and I'll be happy, which meant, what does that mean? I want to do 100x in my career at minimum in 30 years, which means that we've got to generate 15% compounded returns, which we've done in our first decade, which means alpha over 7%, which we've been around 10% lately, but I want it to improve. The current midpoint of our portfolio is a 5x from current, and that's using a 50-50 recession scenario. We don't have much cyclical exposure. And so it's weird for you to have come to an investor day where we really didn't talk about the entire portfolio, which is here. But that's what the whole phase 1 of the trial is. So over the next 3 months, it'll be easier to digest the information. I really like everything on the bottom left of this portfolio, reasonably like everything in the middle, and we hate obviously the things on the top left. So you've heard a lot about X's today. My friend who can't be here is an investor. Actually, in his phone, he calls me X, and that's my contact information in his phone. And people would say I'm optimistic. And one of my favorite autobiographies in researching for The Builders, the book, was Sam Walton's. And I came across this quote, and really, Sam's high expectations, key to everything, is very similar to what people would criticize about Mark Yoning. I was there the day I was in the boardroom with him smoking a cigarette in 2014 when he released this plan. Stock was down 10% after he just said he was going to 5x net income. And he said, what don't you like about the plan? And the first person was bold enough to say, he's just like, it's not believable, you can't do this. And he's just like, I'm paying my people on this, and even if I don't achieve it, you're going to do really well. And we bought stock that day, and we found out 2 days later he bought stock that day. And guess what? He died, but the company still achieved exactly what he said they would do. And so I might be optimistic in saying our portfolio is going to 5x. And so when Chris came on board, I realized that like my internal thinking needed to be externalized, and we needed a mission statement. And our GreenWood's mission statement is actually to be the catalyst to help our investors first, our companies, and our team members perform at the top end of their possibilities. And that's what we're here to do. I'm hoping I'm never stepping on your toes, but I will get on a plane with 6 hours advance notice if it means that we can potentially disrupt the telecom market or do something to create value for. Interestingly, Patrick O'Shaughnessy was here, and one of his colleagues I'm writing a white paper with, which I hope to have done for today, and I promise I'm ending. we're working on some of the data right now, but these are the builders. There's 2,000 companies in here, and this is their market outperformance since 1989. They've outperformed the market by well over my 100x target in 30 years. And basically, so I will be giving all of you guys, before it gets published, a version of this white paper for peer review. This is the screenshot of the first one. So stay tuned for that in like the next couple weeks. I always end with "thank you with your trust," and I always end every letter with this phrase "Annuit Coptis," which many of you think might be crazy. But when it's what the founders of our nations meant by that. It's a Latin phrase. They meant honor us in our daring. And so I think about maybe the Howard Marks memo, "Dare to be great," but mediocrity is not worth the trip at the end of the day. And so thank you. I'm humbled that you guys, I'm just gonna leave the roadmap of what we expect to happen over the next few years. I'm humbled that people from 5 continents are here. There's assets under management of 300 billion, either here or on the webcast. And it's an honor for you to trust us with your capital and to actually, I think, do a few cool experiments, both with the Tetlock and honestly turning a government bureaucracy into an owner-operator is going to be pretty interesting, and I think will lead to a lot of X's in the future. So thanks for being here. Please join us for some wine, and really appreciate y'all coming.